What's going on, guys? Myself, I'm Gamer, and I can tell some of you guys might have been asking yourself, is that a trick, turds? And I'm here to answer your question of how one can create a moving hazard through tubes. Bear in mind, this is a pretty simple thing to do, so this is going to be a short video. However, that doesn't mean everybody knows how to do this. You'd be surprised. So this is going to be a quick video. So without further ado, let's get started. What I have here is a gameplay motive that I have built based off of a DC Comics pack motive. That sounds right. Okay. If you see here, there's some tubing along the motive, and this shows that you have to jump above the tubes in order to avoid being killed. And to add more problems for the player, we're going to add moving water particles, which, when hit by the player, will burn you and you will die. The first thing we need to do is create the hazard itself. If you guys didn't already know, you can turn water into any sort of hazard that you please. All you need to do is place a lethal tweaker on it. For this video, we're going to put it on a big microchip the size of my dick. Now you're going to want to place an anti-gravity tweaker on this so that it won't go anywhere until you place the real logic on. For now, we're going to start working with the path the hazard will follow, because this is a tubed hazard. No say! It's more simple. All you need is an invisible sticker panel and a tag to go along with it. For this tutorial, I'm going to label the tags in order of numbers. So for example, the first tag we're going to have labeled 1. The next one we're going to have labeled 2, and then 3, and then so on until we reach a point where we want the hazard to stop, which I have labeled as end. Back to the hazard. So this harmless water projectile has been lethalized to become a custom hazard. But really you can make a water projectile into any hazard, but the effect will be the same. And that is, unfortunately, no effect. However, you will still be killed in the effect that the hazard has in place that... Yeah, that made absolutely no sense, but I don't give a shit. I'm keeping this recording, so ha ha ha. But you can change the color to whatever you want for visual effects, which are completely not related to this tutorial. I feel like mentioning that because I have to make a video out of this piece of shit. Wow, sorry, way off topic. We need to get back to the hazard right now. If you haven't noticed yet, we need this to move through the tubes without colliding with the tubes themselves, so we're going to need some time and logic for all this. Time? Logic? Whoa, calm your tits, dear sir. We won't really need to do that much. It may seem like it's very complex, but in reality, all it needs is tag sensors, a selector, and some followers, so calm the f*** down. Here's what we're going to do. On a microchip the hazard, I want you to place down a selector. Now I want you to take a look at the label of the last tag of the tubing. Whatever the number says, that's how many selector ports there are going to be, plus 1. Now you're going to want to match the tag sensors to the tags in increasing order. For example, 1 goes on the top, and it counts up on the way down the selector. This will take a while depending on how many tags you use, so try not to create a path that takes up the entire level unless you have nothing better to do, which is probably why you are watching my videos right now, so I should probably stop talking about that right now and get back to the video. Once you're done that, what's going to happen is you're going to hook up the tag sensor labeled 1 to the second selector port, then hook the second tag sensor to the third selector port, and keep going until you reach the bottom of the list. Wiring the selector to the followers works the same way as well, except you wire the first selector port to the first follower to ensure it moves the second it emits. Then you wire the second selector port to the second follower, the third selector port to the third follower, and on it goes. So blah 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 blah, let's get going. Now you're probably wondering, what happens with the last tag sensor? Well, that one actually hooks up to a destroyer to prevent the level from overheating way too early. Because you know, the thermometer is nothing if not a total buzzkill and will stop you from creating your level if you go on. Which really sucks, and I have already talked about that in my modular level design tutorial, which you guys can check out in the Gamer Teaches playlist, and you know, maybe you can do that if you want, wait till after the video, yeah. Now you have the logic to set the hazard on course. Now it's time to have the hazard emit like in the DC comic. What's going to happen is you're going to copy the hazard and add something to it. What you're going to add is the bubbling sound from the DC comic sound kit. But if you don't have the DC Comics pack, you can easily use the LittleBigPlanet Move pack, which has pretty much the same sound effect. If you don't have either pack, then you're out of luck. Or you can maybe find a different sound effect that sounds a bit similar, but actually isn't a bubbling effect. But anyways, now let's move on to the spawning logic, which is about to get a bit complicated. What we're going to do is pull out a piece of sticker panel and place a microchip on it. On this microchip, we're going to place 2 emitters. The reason I'm doing this is because one is going to have the bubbling sound effect and the other will not. This has to be done in order to prevent sound problems and also to prevent play mode from sounding extremely sloppy when the hazards are going through, and that's going to happen very easily, which will take interest away from the level and draw more attention towards the sounds, which you do not want. How this is going to work is we're going to place a sequencer on the microchip. On this microchip, we're going to place 9 batteries like so. Make sure they're overlapping just halfway to make sure that they look close together when they're being emitted. If you guys feel it would make you more organized, you can change the 5th battery's correlate coordination so that you know when the sound hazard is going to emit. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place a timer set to the maximum time, about 4 seconds, for a delay between when a group of hazards is going through the tube and when a group of hazards is not going through the tube. Now wire the final battery to the timer's reset to ensure the delay will begin. Now I want you to place an OR gate with 9 input ports for the battery. Now place 9 counters set to 1 and set the reset to itself to create a pulse. This will ensure that the OR gate will receive all signals from each battery, especially seeing as all of them are overlapping each other. What you gotta do now is wire the counters to each port of the OR gate. Next, I want you to wire batteries 1 to 4 and 6 to 10 to each pulse counter, and then wire the OR gate to one of the emitters. Now you can wire the 5th battery to the last emitter on the microchip. Okay, so, knowing you guys are lazy no matter how much I love your faces, it's time to do something that no one in the world is able to do. All I want you guys to do is take the emitter that's hooked up by the OR gate and have it emit the hazard with no sound. Then I want you to tweak the other emitter to have it emit the sound hazard itself. What? Would you expect some sort of challenge? Yeah, there's nothing else challenging left. Sorry. Lastly, you must wire the timers to the sequencer start input, and set the amount of seconds per stripe to be 0.2 of a second. We want it to emit fast, but we don't want to break the damn thing. Well guys, that's the first tutorial of 2014. Sorry I couldn't get it out sooner, but I had to deal with so much stuff at home, and I had to deal with the complexity of that contest level I did. Now by the time this video is already uploaded, I've already posted this video onto my Twitter page. If you want, you can find it on my Twitter page. You can retweet it to help support the channel, which would mean so much to me. It really supports my channel in so many ways possible, and it really supports the tutorials that come out. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. So, while you're at it, while you're waiting for the intro music to take us out, be sure to click on one of the other 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them yet. And you guys are going to see some awesome shit from there. Yeah. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.